How has the business of video streaming grown to the point where now you're streaming for ESPN, you do March Madness, you even do Glenn Beck when he streams, and you did a lot of the
Don't,
Olympics.
don't tell any of my friends back in
But,
Michigan.
but I mean, from a technology standpoint, how did you evolve as the benchmark that even somebody like ESPN wants to use?
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, when you're streaming 2,500 games, and then you have to double that because you do home and away feeds. So that's really 5,000 games that we're doing. You have to build a really big infrastructure, and you have to hire really good people. People didn't do live events 8 years ago when we started streaming, or even 7 years ago, 6 years ago. You remember, people thought video would never work online. People wouldn't watch it on an iPad or an iPhone, or let alone a desktop. And all that's proved wrong now. Video is certainly is now one of the greatest things that's going on, in digital media. So we hired really good people, and these people, no one told them to stop. And we built all this infrastructure and talent, and trying to deliver, the first to deliver high def, the first to do authentication, the first to do subscriptions, the first to do geo-targeting, all these things. They built it all, and no one said, okay, it's 6 o'clock, you can go home now. So they stayed, and they started building more and more and more. And I think, we have a great partnership with ESPN and a great partnership with our friends at Turner and March Madness. We're grateful for those, but rather than trying to build it themselves, it's probably easier sometimes just to buy it. And frankly, we feel the same way. Given a choice in technology between build or buy, we'd rather buy. It's easier, it's cheaper, it's more reliable. It's just that so often, because the commissioner had such vision, we were first, or nearly first to arrive. We may not have been the smartest, we may not have been the best, we may not be, frankly, but we were probably there among the very first, and so we had to build a lot of stuff. It wasn't there, it wasn't a commodity yet. And that's why I think both the sheer size of it and the vision of the commissioner and other owners to get us out there first put us in a position to help other partners.
I think there are 3 Major League Baseball teams that do some live streaming in market, but it's a touchy situation because of Major League Baseball's national TV deals with the networks and with ESPN. Do you think there's room to add more teams to this without sacrificing or endangering, for lack of a better word, Major League Baseball's national TV revenue?
I think for sure. I mean, the Yankees were the first, and the Yes Network, Tracy who runs it, he really smart, figured out a way to serve the fans and protect all the relationships with the cable operators and the satellite operators. So certainly that's the model we want to try and follow. No league is really doing it. No league is really doing in-market streaming. So baseball with only 3 teams is still far ahead of all the other leagues. It is not easy because there's so many important people there. You have the cable operators, the satellite operators, the RSNs. Certainly, Yes Network is the largest in terms of managing that, and then you have the club itself, and then you have us. So there's 4 or 5 people that need to try and figure it out. So it's not easy. But the reason I think it will continue to evolve and happen is that if we don't figure out a way to serve these fans and capture it, measure it, reward those who need to be rewarded, whether it's cable operators or the RSNs like Yes, the fans will. They'll figure out a way to do it. And that's what happened to the music industry, and that's what we can't allow to happen here. We need to, if it's going to happen, we should figure out a way to put it out there in a way that all important parties, all rights holders are benefited from it, and ultimately the fans are best served. I'm optimistic it will continue to evolve. It certainly seems like it's taken a long time, and the only comfort we have is that it isn't easy because no league has really moved anywhere on it.
The speed at which technology is developing, do you find yourself almost paranoid at times that you're going to fall behind the curve?
Every day, and not just every day. That's too slow. I mean, we worry. You don't want to be so paranoid you're paralyzed, but we spend a lot of time on what other people are doing, and we are the group we have here is highly competitive. As you would expect, we're sort of sports themed, and so most of these people are pretty competitive. And what you found is that the geeks and the nerds, the engineers, those folks, they make the sports people look laid back. They are even more competitive. Who does it first? Who does it best? And so we are a paranoid group of making sure that we have the best content. We want our fans to be able to always, as I say, take their phone and turn it around and say, here's what baseball is doing, what do you got? And to do that, you have to be paranoid. We're not as paranoid about, we didn't rent the content. We're blessed with good content always. It's there. And so we don't have, when we get a deal, the nice thing is we don't need to succeed in a day. If it takes us a year to get there, we can do it right. And so while we're paranoid and we worry about it, we try not to be hasty. We'd rather take an extra month or two and do it right. The content's going to be there; it's not going anywhere. So we try and measure that paranoia with a thoughtfulness, knowing that we're not on a clock. We can take an extra month to get something right.